Hello, welcome back to the channel everyone. So a bit of a different one today for us. I wanted to do a bit of a review on the bike. Now I've had this bike for a couple of years now, 2024, the beginning of 24 I got the bike. And I thought I'd just go through a few bits of what I've done to it, what they're like still, what they're holding up like, what the bike's holding up like since I got it. Just talk you through a few bits of it. So let's get started on that. Yeah, so as I said there, I got the bike in 24. I think it's around March 24 I got the bike. I bought the bike from Superbike Warehouse. I know a lot of people don't like Superbike Warehouse and stuff, but they had a lot of bikes. They had a good selection of bikes to look through. I didn't intentionally go there, to be honest with you, but I looked at a lot of reviews, did a lot of research on these type of bikes, the adventure bikes, and come down to this one of the best engines. If well looked after, it's a really good engine, really good bike. It's pretty basic, there's not a lot of tech on it. We've got ABS on this, traction control, and that's about it really. Alarm, I think there's an alarm on it as well, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's not a lot on it like your BMWs and stuff, there's a lot on them. Yeah, so my thinking was I was looking into reliability really. I had a bad experience with a Triumph Tiger, an old Triumph Tiger, which really was a bike that wasn't very good, but after that I just wanted something reliable. So the mileage on these, some of these have done 150, 200,000 mile even. So the mileage and the reliability that these can do is brilliant. And that's what I went for really, just reliability. And they say as long as you do the maintenance, keep up to date with the maintenance, they're a good bike. So looking at that side of things, let's have a look at what it was. When I got the bike, it was, what was it on now? I think it was on about 2,000, it was on 3,500, somewhere around there when I bought the bike, the mileage. And when it actually turned up, I found it on, like I said, Superbike Warehouse. I found it on there. There was a couple of bikes I looked at on there. One with luggage and stuff, with spoke wheels. Then I did a bit of research on the spoke wheels, which we all know about. If you're from V-STROM, you know about the spoke wheels. And it was a bit of an older bike than this, more mileage, 7,000, 8,000 mileage, something like that. No luggage. This one though, when I phoned up to speak to the guy about it, this one, he pointed me at this one because it had a lot less mileage. It was about the same price. And it had a little back box, but that was about it. So I had a good look into it and I decided that I'd rather go with a slightly newer bike with less mileage on. So I said this company had 3,500 miles. Didn't even look at the bike, just ordered it online. You got the 7-day send it back if you don't like it thing, so I thought just get it delivered and we'll see what happens. It come, pulled up outside, I had it delivered, brought it in, had a good look at it, went for a few rides on it and fell in love with it. Then I had a good look round and found that the mileage was actually in kilometres, so I changed the mileage into miles an hour instead of kilometres an hour, and my mileage went down from 3,500 to 2,400 or 600 or something it was. It lost nearly 1,000 miles. So I had 3,000 miles that first year really, which I did quite easily. And then since then I've been up Lake District a couple of times on it. You know, you've seen the videos if you've looked. I've been up East Coast on it. Been away a couple of times at campsites and stuff with it, and all sorts really. Been all over the place. So yeah, so it started off, I had probably 2,500 say mileage on it, somewhere around there, and now what we're on now, 7,800 I think it's got on it now. So I've done a few thousand miles there. So my review after a few thousand miles. What I didn't like about it and what I changed was the seat. Everybody knows the seats are not comfortable. 40 minutes, I had to stop after 40 minutes, or else if I did much more than that, you were having a bit of a long break. So 40 minutes, stop, have 5-10 minutes, then off you go again, another 40 minutes. That was the first time I went to the Lake District, I think I did that. Looked into it a little bit and found Wentworth Upholstery online, which is not too far away from where I live. So I contacted them and I wanted the seat to look original, so they took the original cover off, memory foamed it, with marine memory foam I think they put into it, and then put the original seat cover back on so it looks original, but it's a lot comfier now. I can get a couple of hours out of this if I'm just riding somewhere and stopping. 2 hours runs nothing. An hour and a half I might stop if I'm on a long journey, an hour and a half, and have a 10-minute break, and then I'm off again for another hour, hour and a half. So it's changed the ride really completely in that department. A lot of people have problems with the screens as well. I'm 6'3", 6'2", so I needed a tall screen. I'd buy the tall screen off somebody on eBay or Facebook, one, 2 day, that got sent up to me. So the original screen I've got somewhere, but that's a tall screen. Even then the buffering still wasn't great, so I added the extender on the top, which I'm not sure if you can see that, it's just up there, the extender on the top, but it was just a cheap one off of, I don't know, eBay, Amazon type of thing. So it just kept coming loose all the time, so I actually glued all the fittings up and just kept it in one place. It don't move now, it just stays there all the time. I glued it up, but what I did when I did that is spill a bit of glue on there. So the screening, there's a little bit of glue on there, which would probably never come off either, because I haven't tried. So yeah, that's another thing I changed, was the screen. Which that's sort of the buffering out now. I can do 70 miles an hour, maybe a bit more with my visor up. Obviously I've never tried over 70 miles an hour, obviously. But yeah, you can ride around with your visor up on this, it's brilliant now, I love it for that. So yeah, another thing I changed, well I didn't have actually, was the sump guard. This bike, this model don't come with a sump guard, so I put that one on. AS3 Performance, brilliant, 100 and something quid, bolts straight on, no problems. Comes off, I have to take it off when I do the oil field change, but it is literally a 5-minute job. I've tried doing the oil, dropping the oil with it on, and it just hit the hole's not exactly in the right place, it hit the side and went everywhere. But I suppose with a funnel you could fix that. But it's 3-4 bolts, quickly whip it off, whip it on. It's never a problem. But yeah, that's been really good, because as you can see, it's got a lot of marks on it. I don't know if you can see that from there. So yeah, it's got a lot of marks on it, as you can see. It's been hit a few times with stones and stuff, which I'm quite glad it's in that, and not the engine. So yeah, sump guard brilliant. Heated grips, obviously doesn't come with your grips. I fit the Oxford ones. I can't remember which exactly ones, but I've done a video on them, you can go back and look at them. They're Oxford grips, as we know, they're perfect all the time. I fitted a USB socket there. It's supposed to be waterproof. It has these little rubbers to fit it to keep it sealed from the rain, but when it does rain it comes off, goes back, and the cover goes back on. And that's sat there for the RAM mount, which I fitted a RAM mount. Everybody says the vibrations aren't good sometimes, but I've got a really expensive phone and never been a problem. That's been on there a couple of years now, so I love the RAM mount, brilliant. I also had this seat cover I've just noticed here. Back in the day, just trying to get a bit of extra comfort. It worked a bit, so I've kept it on, not a problem. Back box, just bought a new back box, quite a big one for going trips and stuff, just so I can get everything in, because I do not want side panniers. So I bought quite a big back box just to chuck everything in there. That seems quite good, but I've not really tested it out yet, so I need to do a bit more with that to test it out. Other than that, what else have I added to the bike really? New tyres, we set new tyres last year, because they were out of date really, they've been on since new, so they wanted changing. Yeah, I think next thing that I'm going to change, next service, is going to be the sprocket and chain he's doing, I think, and that'll be most of the things done. But talking about servicing, what have we done service wise? First year, it had a service from Sports Bike Warehouse before I got it, so the first winter after I'd got it I did the oil and filter change, and then last winter, as you look back on my videos, I actually did the air filter, oil filter, spark plugs, that sort of thing, coolant as well while they're in there, and that's tank off as you can see on the videos. So I did that last year, that's servicing, but each year it's just going to be oil change. Every other year is going to be air filter. Every few years we're going to be doing change of sprocket, and that's about it really for servicing. There's not a hell of a lot wrong that was wrong with them. They're a good bike from what I've been told and what I've seen. So yeah, that's servicing wise. Moving on from servicing, what I've had a problem with, apart from the seat obviously not being great and the screen, the lights. I've got about the lights on the front. They're aftermarket lights on the front. They were fitted, not by me, just down there. The previous person who had the bike fitted them, they weren't fitted very well. The wiring came apart, that sort of thing. It was just sort of twisted together half-heartedly, so that just came apart on me. So I've actually ended up wiring that back up twice and redoing it all. I did it, fixed the problem once, it started working again, and then the second time it broke, I just went through the lot and did the lot again, did everything, all the connections. So I had to rewire that and they were perfect again now. One last thing, I think we've got one last thing on it, the MPG. I can switch it on for you to have a look if you want, but it's running around 58, just over 58.5 MPGs at the minute, I think the average is, which is quite good. I get roughly 55, 60-ish, somewhere around there generally when I'm out and about. I don't go mad, but it's got plenty of power to overtake anybody that you need to overtake, really. I've never felt I've not had enough power with it. It's been a brilliant bike. It's only 650 and I'm not a little lad, you know what I mean, I'm a big lad, so I've also had to tow up on this a couple of times and it's handled it no problems. Not a little bit steadier overtaking, you just got to watch what you're doing and go down a gear, but that's for two people on, but one person on this, it's the ultimate bike. It's so agile and quick to get around stuff, it's brilliant. And I'm glad I went for a 650 rather than the 1000, because I have actually laid this down once that I stopped and it were a bit of a dodgy curve and I missed it and it laid down, which didn't do any damage, it just drops onto these. It never touches the tank because this hits first and then this, or this hits first and these hit first, so it never damages anything, you know what I mean, never even touches any of this. It just laid down, so I picked it back up, and after I picked it back up I thought, geez, I'm glad I didn't buy 1000, because these are heavy enough when you're on your own. I'm a big lad like I said, but I'm not the greatest these days with health wise, so it comes a bit of a chore trying to pick a big bike up, especially when you load up with luggage and stuff. Because that's the thing, you might have a big bike and you might be able to pick it up, but when you're out touring you drop it with luggage on, you're probably going to drop it at the worst possible time you can. And when you do, that's when you're going to realise it's an heavy bike. You start stripping everything off just to be able to pick it back up. Whereas this, I will load it up with my touring stuff. I were away for a couple of days. I don't have a lot, I just have a bag and then fill the back box, but I just picked it up, put it on start stand and carried on with my day, you know. It wasn't an issue, but a bigger bike would definitely be an issue to pick up. So I'm glad I went with a 650. Obviously it's cheaper insurance, cheaper tax. I think they're not as thirsty on the juice either. The MPG's a little bit worse on them. So yeah, the 650 overall after a couple of years of ownership, I'm glad I did what I did and got what I got, because yeah, it's been a brilliant little bike. I'd advise anybody to go out and try one. Try one before you complain, because they've got some power. They might not be the fastest machine in the world, but they'll overtake anything that you want it to overtake. So that's it for today, people. I think I've covered everything I wanted to. Let's look over my notes. I can't think of anything. So that is it for today, people. I will see you on the next one. I've got a couple of tours coming up, little tour coming up, so I hope you enjoy that one. That's probably going to be the next one, rather than these videos of me talking crap. Hey, but yeah, have a good one, people, and I'll see you on the next one.